And 3, 2, 1. Hello, hello. Welcome back. This is Aluminum Tarot. Thanks so much for joining again. As always, it's a pleasure to have you here, and it's a pleasure to read for you for these horoscope readings. So, welcome one, welcome all. I'm going to go ahead and do the readings again for what is your love language. This time we're going to go straight from Gemini to Leo. So, Gemini, Cancer, and Leo. We're going to start with the air signs, Gemini, the twins, and we're going to read your, your reading for, you kind of check in energies to see how you love, what's going on in your love life, and so on and so on. So, if you like this channel, please be sure to subscribe, uh, like, share, subscribe, ding that notification bell so that you don't miss any updates from future postings. And additionally, if you would like a reading with me, one that is in tune with your energies, specifically with your life events as well, please feel free to reach out to me in the information provided in the description box below. So without further ado, let's get on with Gemini. Gemini, what is your love language? How do you love? How is your love life going? We're going to find out. Ah, sorry. All right. Crack the knuckles. There we go. How's Gemini's love life? How does Gemini love? Up here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. So, thumb symbol on. Hopefully this one goes well. How is Gemini's? How is Gemini in love? Okay. How is Gemini in love? World. We'll go ahead and clear that one, please. World. And there we go. Right. Okay. So we're going to have to chat about that one. All right. Carrying right along. So we have the world and we have the Five of Pentacles. So something told me to clarify that. What kind of people do you attract in your life, Gemini? Sun, Moon, and Rising. What kind of people do you attract into your life? Emperor reverse. If I'm not mistaken, Scorpio may have had that, but I'll go back and check. Clarify that. Okay. Knight of Cups reverse, so it's not a very good person to attract. Anyways, we're going to carry on. How do your relationships start? How do your relationships start? How do your relationships progress? How do your relationships progress? Oh, wow. This is pretty bad, Gemini. I'm just going to read what comes out. I cannot refute what the cards are saying. How do your relationships end? All right. So lots going on here. Two of Wands in the reverse. Basically, what this indicates is a person who is, their decision making is kind of at a standstill. You may be feeling stuck in your love life. You may particularly not feel as if there are any options or decisions that you can make on your love life. It's like your love life has kind of come to a standstill, and that, it feels a little bit difficult. I'm getting heavier energies here. And just to clarify that, Two of Wands in the reverse, yes, you have the Ace of Wands in the reverse. So it's like there's no one that's really interesting you. There's no one that really tickles your fancy or whatever you want to call it. And right now, Julie Bull, if you're watching, I have here a 3 ginger tea. So big fan of her channel. It's very, very good. Talks about a lot about manifesting and other good stuff. So yeah, hats off to her. Anyways, before I get distracted, we basically talk about a loss of passion for love, for romance. for relationships and things of that nature. So Gemini may just be kind of doing their own thing because they realize that the decisions they've made in the past may have been poor, or that there are currently no options available for them to actually make a sound decision on. So the way you see romance and the way that you love is essentially you're looking at it as the world reverse and the Five of Pentacles. You're feeling isolated from the dating game. And additionally, you feel like your time in the dating scene has come to an end with the world. Because if I was to see the world card maybe with a more positive card, like, for example, justice, that would be like a leveling up in your dating life and maybe proceeding to marriage. But the world card, it's kind of like, nah, this is done. Not, I can't be asked to really deal with this anymore. Um, the reason why for this is because the people that you attract into your life are the Emperor reverse and the Knight of Cups in the reverse as well. So this is basically control freak, person who's my way or the highway. They typically want to play games with you. They're not really mature enough to lead the relationship, but what they do instead is they use power and control and their authority. They could even be higher up in position. Say, for example, if you was to date someone that was in a work position or in a government position, or someone with a lot of power and influence, but they use it to their detriment and to your detriment. Additionally, Knight of Cups reversed, they're not really the type that goes into a relationship offering their heart on their sleeve or offering any kind of romantic affection or such of that nature. That this kind of, I don't know why I'm getting this, but I'm getting like alpha male energy. And those in the dating scene, I give zero fucks about any of these types of guys. The reason for that is because the alpha male has kind of been debunked in natural, I guess, in natural observations of wolf packs and things of that nature. And alpha male is just kind of like a pissing contest where egos get really fragile and damaged. And despite, there is some good about the kind of manosphere, yes, arena, if you want to call it that. And there are some things that men can really learn from that particular group, but it's kind of like when you have something in theory and then in practice, it doesn't really work out so well. To me, it's just kind of a bit of a circus, to say the least, at these days. I just prefer my peace and quiet. Um, I have a saying for that. I can't really say it on YouTube right now without probably getting flagged. Anyways, um, with these two cards, I'm getting alpha male energy. Um, Person who plays hard to get, person who's not really big into major displays of affection, but who perhaps instead decides that they're going to, just be kind of like the cold stoic type, plays mind games, probably, tries game theory to kind of keep women interested and so on. Or vice versa, a woman who does the same thing. A woman who's a bit of a control freak, doesn't give emotions, plays around, plays a feel, hops from person to person, no pun intended. So the way your relationships start off is that you start with the King of Swords. It's like strategizing. It could mean that. It could just be that there's not a lot of energy devoted to kind of forming an emotional bond. Um, so I pulled the King of Swords, and then to clarify that, I pulled the Fool. So I would say that the Gemini in question functions in their energy. So the King of Swords can be a Gemini themselves. Um, and mind you, looking at the spread, we have from start, King of Swords, Six of Swords to the progress, and then the finish is the Four of Swords. All three of these represent Gemini. That's very telling energy about the way that things are functioning here. So Gemini, if this is you, I'll call you out and I'll say that, maybe this is, energy that could work to your detriment in love and relationships. However, because I see the world and then the Five of Pentacles, you're the one that's feeling left out in the cold or feeling a lack mentality. So I would say that you're attracting these type of people, Gemini, Libra, Aquarians. people who have this prominent in their chart as well. So one thing we could say is that when you approach a relationship, sometimes you like the intellectual affinity that you have with some people, and that can be the very enticing thing that you do, being a sapiophile of sorts and doing your best to form a connection based on intellectual rapport. Now, however, I notice that we have two cards, King of Swords and the Fool. The Fool normally just does things without thinking and just trusts the universe on it. However, the King of Swords is a strategist, and what they do is they try to contemplate and to plan and to strategize on how they're going to enter the relationship. So I think you just kind of coolly and casually go into the relationship. But as things progress, the relationship, you know, becomes kind of like a game of wits, if I can say it. Moving into how the relationship itself progresses. When this relationship goes on, again, I see no cups other than the Knight of Cups in the reverse. So there's not a lot of love and emotion in the way that you approach love. So something about it is that perhaps you need to find someone who is not just a good speaker, a good communicator, things of that nature. What it's important for you to do is to look for the love aspect, something that's going to be able to sustain the relationship long term. And with this, as the relationship progresses, I see the two of you drifting further and further apart, and especially not being able to give each other the attention that you want, not being able to show the affection that you would need, because the Six of Wands is in the reverse. It's not just feeling like a failure, but it's the way that people see you after a victory. There's no victory in this relationship. Instead, it's kind of like you're drifting away. You have the Six of Wands and the Six of Swords here for the way the relationship progresses. And both of these cards are moving in opposite directions. So it's like you're drifting away. The passion and the intellectual core are being ripped apart in this. And what they're doing is there's a drifting away of personalities. You may find yourself moving away because you feel just isolated. You don't feel like the person gives you any attention that you desire or crave. And additionally, it forces you to move on, no matter how painful the result is of the relationship. Finally, we have the Four of Swords. And with this, more swords energy. Good grief, there's swords energy nearly in everything here. The way the relationship typically ends is that you have the Four of Swords. After this difficult period of heartbreak, you are reflecting on this and trying to learn the lessons of it. And that's precisely what's happening here in the Four of Swords with the person in the church. You're reflecting on the guilt, the anger, the anguish that the person has put you through. If this is a King of Swords and they're not a nice one, they're more like an Emperor reverse. This is just a control freak. You know, everything has to be done my way or no way at all. And with the Seven of Swords, this is kind of finding out the things maybe in ways that you have actually self-sabotaged, because it does take two to tango. And let's not kid ourselves. In the dating world, we have the choice to accept people into our lives. And one of the things that I cannot stand to hear about the dating scene is that, oh yeah, that's right, that person was a narcissist and they did this and that, and I'm just such a good person and give my heart. And yes, but you give your heart to people that you know are bad for you. You don't set boundaries. You don't cut people off when they decide to be, narcissistic. You allow people into your life that give you the tingles rather than something of lasting value. So in the past, I was one of those people who looked at the other person and pointed and sputtered and said, that person is the cause of my suffering or anger. But I had to go through a huge period of shadow work starting around 2020. And what that did is that led me to discover the patterns that I was exhibiting in that time in order to understand how to cut off the cycle of repeat in which I would invite people into my life that were horrible, women that were horrible to date. women that were self-centered, self-absorbed, narcissistic, whatever you want to call it. It was a reflection of what I was willing to tolerate at that specific point in time. And because I tolerated narcissism, I got narcissism. Nowadays, if a narcissist comes within a certain amount of feet within me and tries any shit, rest assured that King of Swords is going to wield that off of their heads. I have strong Queen of Swords energy, strong Queen of Swords energy. 3 planetary placements in Libra: Mars, Saturn, and Pluto. It's basically the 3 most dangerous planets in the zodiac. And on top of that, I have a strong Black Moon Lilith placement. Fiercely independent. If you come at me incorrectly, I'm keeping your head like a I'm keeping that head like a trophy prize, like the Predator, basically. We're going skull hunting. Um, anyways, that said, that's what I see here. You have 4 of Swords, and then you have 7 of Swords. You have 3 of Swords detached from this part, and then you have the 2 of Swords. So when we add the parts that are detached and the parts that are grouped strongly, 2 plus 1 is the 3 of Swords. We find that here. You have 2 plus 3 is the 5 of Swords. So you're reflecting on 2 things: the times in which you were unable to make a strong decision to cut people out, and you're also reflecting on the fact that people were able to abuse you with the 5 of Swords, playing games with your mind at all costs. So this is how your relationships end. And this is also the advice that you're being advised to take, which is, have you reflected enough on the way that people have treated you in the past? And what role did you play in facilitating those relationships that provided this person the space and the energy to do this to you? Once you can spot the enemy, you know exactly how to deal with them head on. That's pretty much it. I'm going to leave it there. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for joining today. This has been Aluminum Terror. Thank you for putting up with my rant for today, and hope you enjoyed this reading. Hope you got something, even if it's just a few things from it. If you really enjoyed this reading, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, and ding the notification bell so that you don't miss any updates from future postings. And if you would like a personal reading with me, one that is in tune with your specific energies, feel free to do that too by contacting me at the information provided in the listing below. That's it. Thanks so much. Enjoy the weekend, whatever you can. And until next time, love and light. Bye now.